Hi, I'm Dr. Leslie Becker-Phelps, and this is an overview of the day-long workshop I'm offering to mental health professionals called Improving Treatment Effectiveness with Attachment Theory. In it, I explain an attachment-based compassion therapy approach to treatment and how this approach can improve treatment effectiveness. The attachment-based compassion therapy approach targets insecure attachment, which undermines people's healthy relationships with themselves and others, impairs affect regulation, keeps people stuck in unhealthy patterns, and creates resistance to change, even in therapy. If you reflect on the patients you treat, these signs of insecure attachment likely describe a large segment of them. There are 3 benefits of the attachment-based compassion therapy approach. First, it helps patients develop more secure attachment, which enables them to be more open to change. And with greater security, targeted treatments for specific problems will be more effective. Second, the attachment-based compassion therapy approach facilitates healing by helping patients develop compassionate self-awareness. That is, self-awareness from a self-compassionate perspective. Importantly, increased self-awareness is facilitated in 5 domains, which I'll explain a bit later. Then third, the attachment-based compassion therapy approach offers a framework to integrate different treatment modalities and interventions. Because no one-size-fits-all treatment exists, therapy is most effective when you have a framework to guide integrating different treatment approaches and interventions, rather than the eclectic approach of just grabbing whatever intervention works or that you hope will work at a particular moment in therapy. 2 elements of this approach provide such a framework. It organizes treatment by using the basic functions of the attachment system, and, as I mentioned before, it increases self-awareness in 5 specific domains. Together, these elements provide guidance for how and when to use specific interventions and various treatments. Again, I'll say more about this a bit later. Now let's turn our attention to the attachment system and why its concepts can be so helpful. First, it's based in the body's drive to survive. Also, it hinges on the physiological sense of safety and danger, which is key. Also, infants need others to stay safe physically and to feel safe. In relationship with their attachment figures, children develop a model of others. That is, a sense of these others on a range from emotionally available all the way to not available. They also develop a model of self. That is, they learn to experience themselves on a range from lovable and worthy all the way to unlovable and unworthy. In addition, attachment relationships are foundational in how well people can manage and regulate their emotions. If you think about it, so much of what you help patients with are how they relate to themselves, how they relate to others, and how they manage their affect. This is why focusing on attachment can be so powerful in treatment. And for these reasons, the attachment-based compassion therapy approach uses the model of self and the model of others from attachment theory to help guide treatment. Central to treatment and to healing is also developing compassionate self-awareness. Though attachment theory attends to how people relate to themselves and to others, we must pay special attention to the self, because this mediates the experience of others. That is, the model of self affects how we imagine we are being seen and how we see others. Almost all therapies involve developing self-awareness in some way, though the focus is often on one particular domain, such as cognitions or emotions or behaviors. This approach focuses awareness across 5 different domains, helping patients develop a richer, more integrated narrative in their lives. When patients struggle in particular domains, you can augment this approach by integrating treatments you have already learned elsewhere that focus on those areas, and it also allows for a more effective and integrated treatment. The 5 domains of awareness that we attend to are expressed in the acronym STEAM. S for sensations. What do I sense in my body? T for thoughts. What do I think? What do I think about what I think? E for emotions. What do I feel and how do I feel about what I feel? Actions. What are my actions and reactions? And finally, mentalizing, which you may not be familiar with. This is the ability to understand your own or other people's actions by keeping in mind their mental states. That is, their thoughts, their feelings, fears, fantasies, or any other inner experiences. Among other capacities, it allows for empathy, for compassion, for forgiveness. With mentalizing, you might ask, do I really get what's going on for me and understand what's motivating my actions? And do I really get what's going on for the other person and understand what is motivating their actions? To give you a sense of how STEAM can be used in attachment-based compassion therapy approach, and how it can help you decide when to incorporate other treatment approaches, here's a case example. I started to see Stephanie in treatment, and she was in her early to mid-50s. She was married and had a significant history for major depression. It was clear that she was respected at work, despite doubting this often. She was also very self-critical and expected others to see her in this same way. Now let's take a look at how we addressed the domains of STEAM in her treatment. So with sensations, Stephanie presented as constantly tense. She was in a chronic threat state. We explored this and eventually related these sensations back to her childhood experiences. We also worked with her for how to calm her body, such as with meditation, which she really took to. Patients who seem to be in a chronic threat state often benefit from a focus on their bodies. In such situations, you might find it helpful to turn to Peter Levine's somatic experiencing treatment or Pat Ogden's sensory motor psychotherapy. Next, let's take a look at the T in STEAM, that is thoughts. She had many negative self-perceptions and expected judgment and rejection, including expecting that her husband would leave her at any particular moment. In therapy, we helped her to become more aware of these thoughts and to reflect on them. As you focus with your patients on their thoughts, you might find it helpful to incorporate mindfulness and meditation practices, as well as using cognitive behavioral therapy interventions. Moving on to the E, that is emotions in STEAM. We work to help her identify her emotions, at times using a list of emotions. It was interesting. Among other insights, this led her to realizing that she had very little awareness of, or even words for, her positive emotions. An awareness that we built upon to help her progress in the therapy. I used an approach with her similar to emotion-focused therapy, especially when I met with her and her husband. You might also find emotion-focused therapy helpful when addressing emotions and integrating them with other domains of awareness. Moving along, if we look at actions, the A in STEAM. We look at what she took on at work and how it perpetuated self-doubt and exhaustion. We looked at how her interactions with her coworkers and with her husband and how she perpetuated her struggles in each of these domains. As you focus on actions with your patients, you might find behavioral chain analysis helpful, among other interventions. Finally, let's look at mentalizing. That is the M in STEAM. I used concepts and interventions from mentalization-based treatment to help her reflect on her model of self and model of others. We became curious together about her responses and worked on helping her to develop self-compassion along with her increased self-awareness. Interventions from acceptance and commitment therapy can also be helpful in facilitating mentalizing. Throughout the attachment-based compassion therapy approach to treatment, we attend to the therapeutic relationship. The effectiveness of treatment in developing more secure attachment hinges on this relationship. As you undoubtedly know, how you relate with your patients is key. You need a good rapport as you help patients develop self-awareness in each domain of STEAM so that they can eventually develop a healthy, integrated sense of self. As I mentioned earlier, it's essential that you help your patients approach their self with compassion. That is, that you help them with compassionate self-awareness. Attachment theory offers concepts that help guide the therapeutic relationship, such as safe haven, secure base, and proximity, as well as the model of self and model of others. In addition, as a therapist, to best help your patients, you must be familiar with your own attachment style, how you relate to yourself, and how you relate to others. Over the course of therapy, as a patient develops a more positive connection with the self and with others, that is, as they develop a more secure attachment, they become more open to empathy and to compassion, which enable healing. You, as a therapist, may need to attend specifically to helping your patient develop compassion or self-compassion to facilitate healing. But keep in mind the importance of doing this in the context of increasing self-awareness. Like so much else, self-awareness and self-compassion are especially difficult for traumatized people. So you just need to go slowly with them. Attend first and foremost to nurturing a sense of safety in the therapeutic relationship. That is, you must make your therapeutic relationship a safe haven and a secure base. To recap, attachment theory offers a framework for thinking about treatment. By helping patients develop compassionate self-awareness and nurture a model of self as lovable and worthy, and a model of others as emotionally available, this approach helps them develop a more secure attachment. It also offers a way for therapists to integrate various treatment approaches that they already know and might want to learn more about. Finally, as patients develop more secure attachment, they will be more amenable to change and more resilient. The ideas that I've been sharing with you are some of what I'm covering in my day-long workshop, Improving Treatment Effectiveness with Attachment Theory. For more information, refer to the link in the summary below, and I really hope to see you there. Thanks.